So, GT Sports April update, the 1.13 update that is in particular, with of course new content being added rather than the earlier bug fixes in the month, is finally here. We have 3 new vehicles, kind of a new circuit, but I personally think that one's a bit of a cop-out, and some fixes. Now, the fixes have affected certain aspects of the game, such as the money grinding method. I haven't had the chance to fully get back into the grind, but I've heard mixed things. Some people saying that it's changed, other people saying that there's kind of a workaround that you can do. So, of course, pending that, I will be covering further money-making methods on the channel. But for now, what do you need to know about the update? Well, part of it you're going to see on screen, because I ran through, all of the individual changes. There have been bug fixes to stuff like the livery editor, certain vehicles, etc. In terms of the new cars, though, we can only access 2 of them, at least on the day of releasing this. One of them, I believe, is coming out tomorrow, if I recall correctly, and that is in the used dealer. Not, of course, to the game, it's already in the game, but we can't buy it until tomorrow, and that's the Suzuki Cappuccino. A little bit annoying, but, it is a used car, so I guess that kind of makes sense. What about the 2 Subarus? Well, I think the GT300 car, the 2021, of course, BRZ, is easily the standout of the 2. Not too surprising, it is a race car, it's more powerful, it's faster, but I will say, I really like this car. Of course, I'm going to do a review for these anyway, in their own terms, but this is a fantastic machine. The handling actually reminds me of older Gran Turismo games in the best way. I would liken this to, for example, something like the Opel Astra DTM touring car back in the older Gran Turismos, that kind of handling where it's just got endless grip. It feels fantastic. You can technically slip the tail out, but it's kind of difficult. It really does have that much grip, that much performance. And the only thing I will say about it is if you brake a little bit too late, it's pretty heavy on the steering. But again, it's not exactly like that's the car's fault. Overall, easily the best of the 2. The road-going version is nice, but I do get the distinct impression that Kaz must be a fan of the 86 platform in a similar way to how much he loves the Ford GT, because there's no way they would be adding this many variations, not just in this game, but the last one as well. You don't need this many different versions of the 86 unless you specifically really like the car. And it's not just a Toyota thing, because if it were, because clearly, Gran Turismo does have a good relationship with Toyota and Porsche as well in particular, and they used to have an even better relationship with Nissan in the older games, you wouldn't need to add the Subaru. They could just focus on the Toyotas, so clearly he loves this platform, and I know that even back in the day, Kaz used to drive, I believe, a lot of the cars that were included in the game, so clearly this is a favourite of his. We've got the race version, we've got the road version. The road version is nice, it's a pleasant platform, decent power, not that expensive. I personally think it's a pretty nice looking car as well. I like the front end on this one a lot more. And I've always preferred the Subaru over the Toyota's styling anyway. Again, I'm going to get more into this car in its own review, and I'll probably do some kind of tuning for these cars, maybe not necessarily immediately, because I don't think the Subaru really needs that much tuning, to be honest. It is a Group 3 vehicle, for those who are interested, at 450,000 credits, and I think it's a very strong choice to go for. Of course, I can't talk too much about the Suzuki, because we can't access it yet. The thing that I'm actually the most disappointed about with this update, though, is the quote-unquote new circuit, which in my opinion may as well not be a new circuit at all, because to even call it a variation of a circuit is being exceedingly generous. It's a new variant of Spa, the 24-hour version, except it really isn't. It's just starting the lap at a different point. That's literally the only major difference that you need to know. The track is exactly the same in every other way. Multiple times a day, multiple weather, just like the normal one. So that to me that reeks of the 17,000 Miatas that we used to have in Gran Turismo and 34 quadrillion Skylines. It's just cheap, in my opinion, to have that kind of thing as a new circuit. And I'm glad that they didn't make more of a fuss about that. With that being said, though, I believe it was featured in the teaser trailer. So that's kind of unfortunate, but there you go. Technically, they can add it to the list, I guess, of new circuits. Overall, it's certainly going to be a controversial update. I'm definitely not a fan of it overall. The new track is completely pointless. The updates are some good, some maybe not so good. Money earning, for example. But the cars are a mixed bag. I have no doubt I'm going to like the Suzuki. The road-going Subaru is fine at best. The racing one though, easily the standout of this update. I know a ton of people wanted more Super GT machines, and I will say I'm very glad that they chose to add a GT300 car instead of a GT500. And of course I'm not talking about a Subaru GT500, I mean just in general. GT300s have been a little bit overlooked in the past couple of games, so it's nice to see some more of those, because sometimes the GT300 cars in Gran Turismo can be kind of more useful because of their lower level than the full-on, 500 horsepower models, and this is a prime example of that. Ultimately, of course, tell me down below if you like this update, tell me what you think of the cars if you've tried them already, and of course if you come back to this later on or are watching this after the day of, then maybe drop your thoughts on the Suzuki down below as well. And of course I will be covering the Suzuki on the channel also. So ultimately, stick around for more, of course, as I break these cars down even further in their own reviews, revisit the money earning methods, etc, etc. And of course, until next time, I'll see you then. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.